Well, howdy everyone. It has been probably about 9 to 10 months since we set up the gallery style fish room. I know I've been hit or miss on my uploads, but today I kind of want to do a little bit of a video because there's a lot of things I'm excited about. Not only are we going to be scaping one of our bigger tanks in this new fish room gallery, but we have a lot of super cool and fun products, all thanks to DeLua. DeLua is an online fish store that provides practically everything you need for freshwater or saltwater. Obviously, we're doing all freshwater, so that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. So stay tuned to see some super cool new products that they just added to their website. And then on top of that, we're going to be doing sort of a behind the scenes style video. I kind of don't want to do the super curated style video. I just want to feel like you're here in this room with me and we are building this tank together. So I got Max mic'd up today. I convinced him to throw a mic on, so I want his input on all of this. And realistically, I don't want to kind of cut out, you know, the slower stuff. I don't want to cut out the boring stuff because to me that might be boring, but to you, that might be part of this experience that you might want to know about. So we have everything organized. We have all of my equipment ready to go, and I have not touched or done anything beyond this. And this has been sitting here for quite a long time. So we're just gonna kind of tag you along. So sit back, enjoy, and we're gonna dive right into our first scape tank of the new fish room. So without further ado, let's get all this out. We're gonna vacuum the tank, clean the glass, get the equipment fitted, get the lights on, and then I'm going to talk to you about one of the newer, cooler products that DeLua sent me. So shout out DeLua, thank you very much. And I do want to say, if you need any of the equipment or products that you see me going out today, go to delua.com and check it all out, and maybe you'll find something that'll work for your tank. So we're just going to get everything out. And like I said, this tank has been sitting for quite a long time, so we got to clean it up. It is a little dusty. Me being me, I had to have everything organized and ready so I could kind of visualize what this tank would need. And
sneak preview on the plants, maybe.
Little sneak preview, I think so, yeah. So this is going to be that new product. This is kind of a heavy box. That new product I was going to tell you about. DeLua has teamed up with WEO to provide these aquascaping river kits. Now, I'm gonna set this down because it's a little heavy, but I guess I could put this on the table to talk about it. So, why I am so excited about this box is for a couple reasons. One, I have been watching the Green Water YouTube channel, and honestly, one of the best channels for inspiration and just great content. But they had the owner of WEO on quite a long time ago, and he was talking about all of their products and just how cool they are. And being in the United States, we were not able to get them until now. So with these aquascaping kits, in my mind, it solves an issue of whenever you go to set up a tank, it can be a little intimidating trying to find the right rocks, the right sand, the right aqua soil, you know, all the decorations and stuff you need. It can kind of be tough to source it all and make it match and look good. So WEO solves that problem by literally giving you everything you need to set up your own aquascape. So in this box, it comes with the rocks, it comes with the sand, it comes with the accent pebbles, and it comes with their form of, it's not really an aqua soil, but I have a bag right here. This bag's a little dirty because it was in shipment, but this is going to be a crushed volcanic stone that has micro and macro nutrients in it that's going to support the long-term health of all your stem plants. So in this box, it comes with a bag of this. And the cool thing about these is they have a couple different sizes to match the size tank that you're setting up. So one mega box will fit, you know, a good size 20-inch tank. So this is gonna be literally a pack and play. It's just ready to go. So I can't wait to get into that box. But before we do, we have to clean this up because as you can see, it has been quite a long time, so dust has gotten in there. So I'm gonna go grab, what do we think? We need a little vacuum and maybe some glass cleaner before we get started.
I'd say so.
Yeah, and then we're just gonna get going. So let's go get the vacuum. So yeah, it might be loud. Volume warning, I'm sure Max can put a little volume alert thing on the screen there.
I'll just put like elevator music over it.
Yeah,
so
please
it's
do.
not-
Maybe like speed it up.
I might forget, but we'll figure it out.
It's all right. It's light time. So something I always recommend at the start of any of your aquascape is I always start with my lights and equipment, and the reason I go lights first is I just like to see what the tank looks like lit up, and as you're scaping it, you can kind of identify where your shadow zones are, where your good planting zones are, and then with your equipment being set up, you can know that everything will fit because we're gonna have a CO2 diffuser on there, and then our filter, the inlet and outlet. So yeah, let's dive in and get that going. Delua, in my opinion, has some of the best lights. They have these Illumagic Aquascaper pixels, and I've only had these set up on one other tank, and that's gonna be this tank right behind there. I know there's some stuff in the way, but these lights, for me, in my opinion, have grown plants so well, and I haven't had any algae issues. So knock on wood that these plants are going to do fantastic with these pixels in here. Thank you, Max, for covering us on that. But yeah, we're gonna be doing a dual pixel setup on this tank. So let's get that unboxed. And if any of this stuff gets boring or anything, we'll you know, just do a little camera magic and fast forward when I'm, you know, having trouble opening a box like so. So this should be, we're gonna have to assemble this, but this should be about right here. And then this rail right here is gonna go probably like so. And then we'll have a pixel on either side. So.
Like this one?
Yeah, like this one.
Yeah.
You know, they told me that that is not the way you set it up.
Yeah, I think I remember that. What did we do wrong on this one?
Typically, they sent me, I always wondered why I had extra pieces like this, and they're supposed to be on either side, holding it up like that.
Oh, that makes sense.
But you know me, I like to do things the hard way.
Without instructions?
Without instructions. That was actually the exact case. Well, there's no instructions on here, but they give you a QR code on their website. You can see how to properly set it up, but if you're like me and you just kind of like to get straight to it,
Freestyle.
we get straight to it. So yeah, let's get this going.
Little check-in, how's it going?
Little check-in's going great. So you just put the 4 screws through there, and then there are little washers on the inside there, and you can tighten it to get your achieved height. So this is gonna be, you probably have to pull this out a little bit. So that's gonna be kind of like so. And then if we need to adjust the height, we can unscrew and loosen these to raise or lower this. But for now, I'm just gonna make sure this is secured. And then the next step is going to be using these little L brackets, and these guys will slide in here to give us our bar that goes out, and then that bar will go right on top and screw in, kind of like how this guy did. I'm kind of using this as an example because it's been probably well over a year since I set one of these up. So we're just gonna take our time, and we'll keep checking back in as I figure this out and it's done right. So yeah, we'll be right back. All right, so quick update. We have, I had to have Max put the camera down to help me hold up and measure and get some of these things going. We got the top bar placed, centered, looks good. Something I want to talk about with the pixels is if you ever get it, you need to get the scheduler. So this is going to run your light schedule, your on off, and then it also is going to manage your brightness levels so you can dim it. And then Delua was nice enough to give me one of their Illumagic holders. So we got that screwed in, and that's just going to sit right there with a very satisfying snap. And then the next thing we're going to do is get these cables hooked up. Another cool little feature about the pixels is they give you little rubber covers to go over the connections so that it's just an extra layer of protection if water was to ever splash on there. So what we're gonna do now is set this up, get the lights screwed on, and when you do your pixels, it's the same exact process. You're going to have these little guys that hold your screws. So your screws are just gonna go right through there and screw into the light. But something I wanna show you, if you're having trouble getting these seated into the bar, one tip that they gave me was to put it in sideways, get a regular screwdriver, Phillips or flathead, and you can put it through it. Oh, you can put it through it, and you can use the counterbalance of the screwdriver to set it in very nicely and also move it. So if you need to make a little adjustment, get one of these, or you can use pliers. I just like this method a little bit better. But yeah, hang tight and we should have lights on during the next checkup. So let's do it. It is bright as ever and I absolutely love it. For now, just because I am way too excited to get started, I'm gonna leave these cables kind of as they are, and then probably later tonight when I'm, settled down and can tinker away with it, I can go back in and they add these little clippies here. So if you see these, don't throw them away, because what they do is they sit in the clip right here, and then you can clip it up against the side of the rail to kind of, if I can show you, to hold the light, cable in place. So you can sneak that into that bar right there and it'll snag it in place. So that's just gonna be some finessing, but right now the cables are kind of out of the way. And if you look kind of here, really the only cable you can see is this guy right here. And I might even be able to kind of dangle it off the corner there, maybe stop it there, but we'll worry about that later. Right now I wanna get going on our filter and our CO2. So we're gonna clean this mess up, and probably in a couple seconds for you guys, we'll have the filter out and we can cut some tubing and fill it up with some media, and I can show you guys some more cool Delua products that will work perfectly for this tank. But it's lit up and I am getting very excited to get to scaping. Like I said in the beginning, I didn't want to do a super curated video, but I do want to take times at certain intervals in this video just to give Delua a proper shout out and thank them over and over and over again. They have taken the time and consideration to sponsor me and provide me with everything I need for all of these tanks. I'm a little out of breath because I've been singing and dancing, but this is gonna be our filter setup. And with the filter, we're using an Owase Biomaster. I think this is the 250. I love these filters because they come with a built-in heater, and they also come with a internal pre-skimmer. So the water is going to pass through this before it goes into the filter, and I have just had the best success with these filters. They just do their job and do it very well. But shouting out Delua, and if you are gonna need some stuff for your filter, we're gonna be using their River glass lily pipe along with their, canister filter, what do they call it in this? The wide mouth glass lily pipe. So these are gonna be the two pipes for it. And then what's going inside the filter is going to be Delua's own brand of these harmonic ceramic bricks and some elixir carbon. So these bricks are just gonna be like your Chem Matrix or your Fluval FX media. It's gonna be extremely porous little ceramic bricks that are gonna capture all the beneficial bacteria and help keep your tank stable. And then the carbon, I'm sure you know what carbon is if you're watching this video. You have to be a fish tank nerd. This is just gonna keep the water clear. It's going to reduce some smells and just keep it more pure and stable. So what we're gonna do is get this filter apart and load it up with some media. And then we're going to take this new UNS Pro Filter tubing. The reason I wanna use this UNS tubing is because it's super soft and bendy. Glass lily pipes scare me very much so. I have seen videos, I've heard stories of people trying to put tubes onto lily pipes, and these will literally just shatter in your hand and slice your hand open because these are, thin glass. So I wanted to get a tubing that was a little bit more soft and not so hard and rigid to hopefully prevent that. But I just want to tell you, if you're using glass lily pipes, Please be careful. They don't require a lot of force to break, so just take your time with them. I'm gonna definitely be taking a nice time, a little pause when I'm doing them. But yeah, we're gonna cut this to size, fill up our filter with the Lewis filter media, get our lily pipes situated, and we are one step closer to scaping this and putting some water and plants in. So I don't know how we're gonna, Max, do you wanna do?
I wanna cut in really quick.
Yeah.
I think, I'm not a fish tank expert, but we did it in a previous
By
video.
now you are. You've been with me for 3 or 4 years now.
We did it in a previous video, so I know this. If you remember Kyle did this.
Yeah.
He heated up some water and put the end of the tube in some water. So if you do have a harder tube, you can probably do that to help a lot.
Max knows what he's doing. You hear this guy?
Yes.
He's a fish tank nerd now.
You won't see my face, but you'll see me give it a thumbs up whenever I can.
We got him mic'd up, but for the face for Max, that's going to be a little bit longer. Maybe we'll do a face reveal one of these videos.
I don't know how many people want that.
Everybody does, Max. Come on now. We're a good-looking dude, man. But, Max, how do you think we should do this? Should we do, I don't want to do a time lapse, but should we do quick cuts of like opening it up, putting it in, or just long format? You guys can see me doing it. I did want to show you a little bit up close and personal with DeLua's lily pipes. This is going to be their high flow. I think it's high flow because of the smallness of this. But what we want to do with this guy is we want to position it in place and then attach our filter tubing to it and then run that to the filter and cut off any excess. A lot of people don't realize the importance of having a proper filter tube length and having no excess in it, no sags. It really improves your filter's performance and gives you maximum water flow and just doesn't put a lot of harsh straining on your filter. These look amazing, but like I said, that is glass. That is scary. I have never used glass lily pipes before because they scare me. I'll be completely honest and upfront with you guys. But with how nice this fish room gallery looks, and then also DeLua having these available, I felt like I had to use it and kind of get over my fear just because of how good these look. And what we're going to be doing is obviously later we're going to be adjusting this, but we want to have two things with our water in. So we want to have this pointing at wherever the CO2 is going to be. So we're going to be having CO2 in this front corner, and then we also want to have it high enough so that it's rippling the water surface so that it creates a proper gas exchange from the CO2 and incoming oxygen. If this was all the way down here and it wasn't creating ripples or little tiny blips in the water, the CO2 would be trapped and there would be no way for excess CO2 or oxygen to come in or out. So that's what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to keep a little bit of room for my filter tubing, but for now, I think we're just going to have this up in the front and we'll stick that there. Make sure it's nice and secured. It is. That looks super cool. And yeah, then we'll get our intake here. And then like I was saying in the beginning of having all your equipment in the tank, you're able to see how much room you have for your substrate, for your big rocks, for all of it. That is super cool. So that is blown glass. Someone took the time to make this and it is very, very cool. So we're going to get our suction cups here and contribute to the trash pile. And then with your intake, it's good to have it on the same side of your outtake. That's because it gives the water time to circulate in your tank and make its way back to here. If you were to just put it on this side, one, it would suck up your CO2, and two, this filter would just be blowing right into the intake and it wouldn't get time to circulate in the water. So I'm going to put it right next to our intake. Boom, boom. And obviously we can adjust these later, but man, that looks clean. I really love the look of glass lily pipes, and I'm glad we're going to be getting over our fear here. So let's get some tubing going.
So this is the tough part, right? This is the one you were worried about?
Yeah, this is the one I'm worried about. Just connecting them, and obviously anytime I have to do a maintenance, because these will get like malmy and dirty, and you'll have to take a brush to them and disconnect these, obviously. So obviously this first part, and then the maintenance part. So, but hey, we just have to take a chill pill, relax, and have fun with it. With filter tubing, what I always recommend, hold your 2 links here, and then Max is going to set the camera down here in a second, but I always like to get it straightened, and then right where it bends like that, use some strong scissors to cut it, and you'll have 2 equal lengths here. And then what you can do, yeah, the big boy scissors, what you can do is we can hook it up to our pipes, run it into our filter, and then cut the excess off at the filter. So, and like I said, I'm gonna leave a little bit of wiggle room just if I wanna put these up or down. I don't wanna be super constricted. So we will check back in once the tubes are on, and maybe we'll show you me putting these on and me being very careful, maybe. All right, so my purchase of the new UNS Pro filter tubing is making my fears dissipate completely. Basically, with these being so bendable and flexible, I was really easily able to squeeze these on. So let me actually get this off again. So as you can see, what I do is just kind of back and forth, up and onto it. And you want like probably a 1/2 to 1/4 inch of the tubing in there. So that's about almost there. I'm gonna try to just get a little bit more in there. Just like so. So that secured on, and we did it, Max. No trips to the hospital.
I didn't do it, you did it.
We did it. You supported me, brother.
All right.
You just wanna kind of bring in the excess, and as you can tell, there is a lot of it. And you're gonna wanna basically cut where the tube's gonna be all the way inserted onto your filter intake and outtake. And like I said before, I'm gonna push it up and give myself just a little wiggle room. If I ever need to move these up or down, it's just gonna make my life way easier down the road. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna line it up, push it up just a little bit, line our scissors up, and give a cut right here. And it looks like this is the intake. So we're gonna push this on. Boom, CO2. With any high-tech scape like we're doing with this one, it's always a good idea to get CO2 if you can. Obviously, CO2 can be a bit overwhelming for some, and it can be very expensive. Ways around that is you can just get plants that don't require crazy CO2, and you can keep your lights a little bit dimmed. But for this case, we're going all out. So we're gonna have CO2. I have this bottle filled up. But what I wanted to talk about is 2 things. One, again, with DeLua coming in hot, they are going to have everything you need to set up your CO2 system. They're gonna have your high pressure tubing. They're gonna have your diffuser. And they're also going to have your indicator that will make sure, it'll tell you whether you're over or under dosing your CO2. So we're gonna set that aside for now. The other thing I wanted to talk about was if you are setting up a CO2 bubbler, this little device right here is going to be what's gonna show you how many bubbles per minute you are dosing. And a trick of the trade I learned from another YouTuber, I don't remember who it was, but use mineral oil in here because this will never evaporate, and it is way more, I think it's viscous is the right word. Max, is that right?
I don't know.
If it's like, I don't know. Basically what it does is it helps to really truly show you how fast that bubble's moving, and the fact that it doesn't evaporate makes it so you don't have to get in here and fill this up with water every couple weeks. So we're gonna be using mineral oil in our bubble counter. So we're gonna screw this off like so. And we're going to take the lid off, make sure this is secure, get our mineral oil here.
Concentration.
Are we focused? Kinda, my finger's blocking it.
Are you focused? It sure looks like
Dude,
it.
after doing the lily pipes, I feel unstoppable.
When you see the shot back, you're gonna be like, I was in the zone.
Dude, we're in the zone. All right, and keep a little at the top. Boom, just like so. We're gonna take our lid here and make sure it's nice and tight. Obviously, you don't wanna crank it down with a wrench, but this is going to be pressurized, so you definitely want it to be snug. We're gonna take this back, screw it here, just like so. And then this is gonna be a very, very quick breakdown of your CO2. With any dual stage regulator, you're going to have a pressure gauge here, a pressure gauge here, spinning knob here, spinning knob here. Basically, when you turn your CO2 bottle on, this first gauge is going to show you how much CO2 you have in your bottle. This next gauge right here is going to be how much you're applying to your regulator right here. So this is a solenoid, and it's going to stop any CO2 from going into your bubble counter, depending whether it's on or off. So what we can do next is we can make sure this is at about 30 or above. That's kind of the sweet spot. Don't ask me why. That's just kind of reading a bunch of forum posts and watching other people set these up. I always see them set that about 30 PSI. And then your next step is, what I like to do is plug your CO2 into a timer. So this is a Wi-Fi timer that I can set to turn on and off at certain intervals. And what you want to do with your CO2 is turn your CO2 on an hour before your lights come on, so that when your lights do come on and your plants actually start needing CO2, there's going to be a little bit of it in your water column. And then you want to have your CO2 turn off usually 30 minutes before your lights go off, because when there's no lights on, your plants are not using CO2. So what can happen is, if you leave your CO2 running 24/7 at night, when your plants are starting to release oxygen instead of consuming a bunch of CO2, you can gas out your tank, and it's not good for your plants or your fish. So always good to have a regulator here. But what I want to do is just plug this in, see if it works. So you heard that click. I don't know if that click came through. And then next, the last spinny thing, if you adjust this, is going to show you how many bubbles you're sending in. So you can do a lot, you can do a little, but basically later on you can fine tune this. And if you do, 1, 2, 3, or 4 bubbles a second, you can times that by, there's 60 seconds in a minute. And the good method is, a certain amount of bubbles per minute. So later on, once we're kind of settled down, I can fine tune this and adjust the bubbles per minute.
That depends on the size of the tank?
Yeah, that depends on the size of the tank, and then your amount of really CO2 demanding plants. So like I said, I've only done CO2 2 or 3 times. I always like keeping easy plants that don't require a lot of maintenance and upkeep, but with the new tanks, we're obviously doing some nice plants, and you'll see those in a little bit. Red plants, stem plants, advanced plants really thrive with CO2. So yeah, we're gonna be doing that later. I'm not gonna bore you anymore, but I just wanted to show you the whole system working and see that it works myself, because it's been 2 years since this has been working. So we're just gonna close this up and unplug it. And now we have to cut our tubing and get our diffuser placed in the tank and put a quick release valve on it. So we're gonna get this into place. You always want it, 1, close to where the tubing is gonna be coming out of, and 2, you wanna be able to see everything here and be able to adjust it, because there will be some fine tuning down the road. So right now, I think first things first, let's get this placed inside of the tank. Little U, diffuser. Oh wow, it comes with everything. So just so you know, when you buy the diffuser, it comes with your check valve, it comes with your bands, it comes with everything you need. So thank you to Lua for providing this for me. So Look at this cute little guy. So what we're gonna be doing with this guy is you want your CO2 diffuser on the opposite end of your water coming in. Reason being is that water flow is going to hit this and help push this around to the tank so your plants can actually use it. Okay, so now we can easily see where we need to cut this bad boy. We're going to cut it right there. Boom. So now, hopefully, again, glass, you don't want to press too hard on it. Just enough to get it seated. Just like so. One thing we have to make sure we're doing is, I don't think we have any extra clips, but you can buy little suction cups to make this more in line with that. I might pick those up later down the road. But you don't want to forget your quick release valve, because what will happen is when your CO2 shuts off, water is going to push down into your diffuser and it will escape. So water will come down here. So you want to make sure that you have this somewhere in this side of your setup, just so it stops the water from filling up this guy and leaking out. So what you're going to want to do, and since I don't really want to see this, I'm probably going to set this right here. The arrow shows you the direction of which you want your fluid or gas to be passing, so nothing can flow back through this check valve. So what we're going to do is I'm going to cut a little gap right here and insert that. Like so. Like that. Get this back in here. And then this is going to basically go on the top of this guy. We got our check valve in, we got our diffuser in, we got our beautiful pixel lights in, and we got our glass inlet and outlets in. Everything is set. We have our filter media in. Later on, when I do my light timer, I'll probably adjust the Wi-Fi timer. Last but not least, to finish off hardware, is I just want to install this little guy. This is a color indicator. Pretty much, it's just going to tell you whether you're dosing too much CO2 or not dosing enough CO2, but that can be confusing because this isn't monitoring how much CO2 is in your water. It's monitoring your oxygen saturation level. So a little bit nerdy there, but basically how CO2 affects your water column is way too much CO2 will crash your pH, and not enough CO2 won't change your pH. So this, in other terms, is a pH reader. So you're gonna tilt this up, put enough droppers into the little ball side, flip it upside down. This goes into the water, and what will happen is there'll be a little stop here and the water will gas out into the bubble there, and that'll kind of give you an idea whether you are dosing too much or too little. And you can see here, is that focusing, Max?
To an extent.
So yellow is high, that's too much. That means you'd have to turn your CO2 down. Green is what you're aiming for, and blue means you're probably not dosing enough. So it takes, 24 hours for this to really settle in, but once you have it going, you're good to go. I believe 15 drops. So it tells you on the box, you put 15 drops in there. Give this a shake-a-reno. Boom. Let's see if we can get this. Another focus face.
Another concentration.
1, 2, 3, 4. And then you should be able to slowly tilt it. And it will look like that. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so this is, I'm gonna take a pause just to talk about it.
Yeah, flip her around.
Oh, I don't even have it on the right side. That's why I have
There you
you,
go.
Max. You're here to help me.
Thumbs up.
This is something I'm super excited about. Like I said earlier when I was talking about this, one of the harder parts of aquascaping is sourcing all your materials, not only for a good price, but finding stuff that matches and looks together that you know is safe and correct for your aquascape. And that's what WEO did, and we are very thankful that Delua has them offered on their website. So if you go to delua.com, you can see their freshwater link on their page, and you can see the WEO tab, and they're gonna have a bunch of kits. So if we can do a little sidebar, this is their Amber Dragon kit.
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, that one's gonna look really cool. It has obviously amber reddish tones. It kind of looks like Sedona, if you've ever seen pictures of Sedona. Obviously this one is a really dark, moody scape. And then there's also another one, forgive me and my dead tree over there, but this is going to be the Black Allure kit. To my knowledge, I think there's, don't quote me on this, but I think there's like 6 or 9 of them. Maybe we can get Max to do a little screen grab of the website, scrolling through them real quick for you. But they have a bunch of different kinds, so definitely head on over to Delua and check them out. But for today, we're gonna be using the Jade Bliss. And the reason why Max and I decided to do the Jade Bliss is with all the green around here, this black, dark, moody scape is really going to pop. And then later you'll see the plants I picked. We got some bright pinks, oranges, and reds, and some touches of green that I feel like you're gonna see this tank in the middle of the wall, and it's just gonna be a punk rock, heavy impact tank. So I'm really excited to do that. Without further ado, let's see what's in here. I have never unboxed one of these before.
You've had these for what, like 6 months?
A while. Maybe
longer?
Maybe longer.
They've just been sitting like...
They've just been sitting there waiting, going, someday, soon.
Yeah, so now we're finally getting to open it.
Yep. So it looks like how they do it is one side is going to be all your rock, and that's actually a lot more rock than I assumed they would send. Maybe what we can do is set this down, and we can place our stones and see what we got. Not only excited to be using this WEO kit, but I'm gonna be trying something new. And usually when I do scapes, if you followed the channel, I do very messy jungle style scapes, and they include wood, rock, pebbles, accents, kind of no order to them. But with my goal with all the tanks in here, I want them to be more minimalist, I want them to be more professional, and I want them to have a really, really clean look. So really all we're gonna be using is this rock. Max is gonna be really happy because he loves rock scapes, but I'm not gonna have that handicap or that crutch of using woods and accent pieces. I'm gonna have to use what we have here, and I know this is gonna be enough because this was designed by a true aquascaping company. So excited for that. This is gonna be that flora bed that I showed you earlier. This is going to contain all the nutrients for our stem plants. And this is going to be the decorative sand. And look at that. Not only did they give us small stones in the rock pile, but they also include nice little pebbles in there. I don't know if we're gonna have to rinse this, probably not. Let's see if they recommend to rinse it. No, they don't. I'm sure you could rinse it if you want, but what we can do is just fill it up really, really slowly, and it should all sink down. There'll obviously be a bit of a cloud there, but after an hour or two, the filter will pick that all up. So without further ado, we're probably gonna get our first pour. This is probably gonna be our base and then our back side of the scape. So with these rocks, and obviously you can use this as an example, it looks like 2 or 3 big ones on this side with, literally they gave us this little pointy guy. We can have this little pointy guy coming out here, and then a couple mediums over there, and we can put our own little touch on it, or you could follow this to a T. I just want to see kind of how big we're working with here. So if we want that there, probably need a decent amount of substrate. So what I want to do, just for my own style, is probably have more than what they provide here. That's why I ordered extra of this, but I just want you to know this is extra and this didn't come with the pack. I just like a thicker substrate. So I'm probably gonna pour some of this in first. So let's get our first cool pour shot. Boom. We are going to be having some carpeting plants up in the front. So I just want this to be obviously sloped up in the back. But since this does have nutrients in it, I want to have some of it at the front. So we have a little bit of a slope in the back here. Then I'm going to get our handy dandy scraperino, and you just want to have it pulled away from the front so you get that nice clean look at the front, so it doesn't look all mixed. Does not have to be perfect.
It's like anti-ASMR.
Yeah, it's very aggressive ASMR. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. I'm sure there's someone that likes industrial style ASMR.
It's probably somebody out there.
Machinery dudes, you know? All right.
If anybody wants to see Trevor do an ASMR fish tank build,
as long as it's not chewing ASMR, dude. I saw someone doing a chewing ASMR, and this guy I knew would fall asleep to chewing ASMR. I mean, like, I don't, no judgment, but
it's not for you.
Chewing is one of my biggest pet peeves.
It's called, actually, there's a term for it.
I know.
Do you know what it's called?
No, I've been called it though before.
It's called misophonia, or misophonia, or something like that.
So basically, right now, I am just trying to visualize where this is going to go. Obviously, that is our main stone, and whenever you're aquascaping, you want to work around your biggest stones and work down to the smallest ones, just because these take up the most impact. And then another trick of the trade is using that golden point ratio. Basically, all that is fancy words for don't make the focal point right dead in the center. You want to have it kind of offset, or offset this way, or offset this way.
It's rule of thirds.
Yeah, rule of thirds. So basically, right here would be dead center, because we put our light dead center. So we would probably want our focal point to be back here. So what we're going to be doing with the rocks is a big mass of rocks here, and then coming out over to here, and a smaller mass here. So this will be blocked, and then this will be blocked, and there'll be a little space where you can see back there. So I like our height. So before we put stones in their final place, let's get some of this fancy sand. Oh wow, this is a reusable bag. Looky there. Oh wow. Comes with super cool little pebbles and everything. Man, this sand is definitely going to be cloudy. But definitely cool. So Max, right behind you, there's a little pouring cup on the second shelf. My man. So I like using these. It just helps pour it in there. You always want to start at the front, so you lock in all of the, the substrate system. Boom, boom, boom. And what we can do, just like so. And probably what we can do later is if we need more little accent pebbles, we can probably come in here and rearrange how those look. But man, oh man, that looks so good. It looks like they balance the amount of stones in here, so it's just even. Max, it broke.
I heard that.
Damn. All right, well, we can still use it.
That's unfortunate.
More to the trash pile. So like I said earlier, you can finagle with it. Some of these rocks obviously kind of bunched up, but they're very easy to kind of press in there, but it looks just so natural. It looks like a base of a riverbed. And I want to make sure we use all of it. So if we can maybe show this side, I don't know if you can see it, but you want to have that gradient. This isn't that big of one, but what that does is just helps your perspective of your tank. And then obviously, once there's water in it, we can tamper down this front part and make it a little bit more uniform. Or we can do it now. That works. So that's perfect for now. Now we're gonna get into our stones. I think we wanna work left to right. And remember, we gotta keep room for plants. So we're gonna have some good stem plants in the back. We're gonna have some carpeting plants up here, and then some little, mid-ground plants there. So you never wanna put your rocks all the way to the back. You never wanna put them too far forward, but bigger ones, you want a little bit farther back.
Kind of like the rule of thirds, but looking top down, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
cool.
a beautiful way to put that, Max.
Thank you.
God dang. But yeah, and like I said earlier, we want to see the character of this stone. So that right there, I love this part. And you can see these lines. They're going to be pointing to, if you can see, points directly to where we wanted that rule of thirds point to be. It's not pointing to here. It's going to be carrying your eye to, I wonder if I can use some dust. No, that's not going to work. It's going to be carrying your eye to this spot. So I really like that. What we're going to do is sink it a little bit into your substrate. That's just going to help it be more stable. Boom. And then if we're looking at our pile of rocks here, we have another pretty big guy. Not very detailed besides the top here and maybe the side. So what we want to do is put the thick part down and maybe angle it a little bit. That looks pretty good. Because then we can put a plant right in the middle here. We still have some room back here to put some stems. It's not touching our glass, but what I want to do is see if we can sink her in there. I kind of really like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a little flat, but since it kind of carries that line.
Kind of matches with it really nicely.
Yeah, and the crack.
It fits perfect.
It almost fits perfectly, and we can probably put a plant here or, throw a little rock down here, and it kind of looks like it cracked over time.
I kind of like it without anything.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you, Max. We'll keep it there and see how we're working. We still have good amount of planting space back there. And it looks like on the box, oh, I see what they did, Max. They put a little rock in between it. So they separated it. I don't know if I'm gonna do that, but we might put something here, keep it there. Definitely this guy.
Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks like it's got a point. Maybe a little something.
I need hang on. Can I fix it?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
what
I
do
know
you
what it
see?
needs.
Max is on it.
I'm breaking everything though on the way.
Are we gonna see Max on camera or are we just gonna see his hands?
Just my hands. I'm zooming in. Alright, I think it needs just a dark rock like right here.
How about even better, we put an actual rock.
I think it's gonna blend too much though, I think.
Let's see, let's try the other side. And maybe that'll help balance it out a little bit. So, if you look, you can see how we're straightening this point. These two are going right to where we want it. And those are the big stones kind of out of the way. I kind of want a pretty detailed stone right here. But I want this buried. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. That's almost done.
I feel like it needs a little bit more depth, like something.
Needs something right here.
I think even separate from it, like maybe right here or something.
I like that
Water's
a lot.
gonna change it a lot too, obviously.
Oh yeah, dude. But then this is also too kind of. This is also the point where I would be like, okay, we're done, and I'd start adding a bunch of wood to fill the rest of it.
Yeah.
So kind of without that crutch, it's like, is this gonna look good? Is this not gonna look good? But I think we got to remember the plants are really gonna bring it together.
Are you putting fish in this one?
Oh yeah.
What are you putting in?
I have no idea yet. I'm thinking.
Black mollies might be kind of.
I'm never using black mollies again.
Just kidding.
I'm thinking cardinal tetras. They're like really neon blue and red.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Maybe we can put a little picture on the screen of.
No,
But I'm
not.
I'm gonna let Max's thumbs down. That's too much
kidding.
work, bro.
Maybe we'll see if.
But I think I'm gonna let this cycle for a good amount of time before I put fish in it. I'm obviously gonna be putting beneficial bacteria and stuff in it. Yeah, I think for water, I'm probably gonna fill it up this high.
Bit, right?
But yeah, we got a lot of plants to get through, and I think that saved us a bunch of time. I don't even know what the time is, but yeah, we're gonna set the camera down. I'll clean up our space, and we'll see you when we have plants ready to go. Basically, what we're doing to start the tank is we're gonna be using some Glossostigma elantoides. Hopefully I'm saying that right, it sounds good. This is a really good carpeting plant, especially with CO2 and good light. I'm not gonna bore you guys with getting out of the tissue culture. Super quick and easy. Take it out, rinse it off, put it into little planting bunches there, and we're going to cut back to when that's all done, the boring part, and we'll get some good planting shots, and then we'll keep on rolling. So yeah, check back in a little bit. So the boring part's over. What I did was create little tiny bunches of all the glosso. And then there's also this plant called Echinodorus magdalensis. Hopefully I am saying that right. These are going to be the Glossostigma is going to be our front carpet. And then these Echinodoruses are gonna be kind of the mid-ground to foreground. And then if you see over here, the lights came on, we're gonna be having the Starogen repens as our mid plant to go in between some of the rocks there. And then we have some Rotala that looks pink and absolutely beautiful. And if you look at the top, it looks like already some new growth is happening. So it looks like they didn't get too stressed out during shipment. And then we have the Rotala orange juice. I got the orange juice just because how could you not get a plant that's called orange juice with those orange and pink tones? And if you look from the top, it is seeing some new growth as well, which is super, super cool. And then we have some, I believe this is Lantana Ludwigia. Quote me if I'm wrong. Probably someone in the comments will be like, oh, you got it wrong, but it's Ludwigia. These are also a lot smaller bunches than normal, so it is going to be one of those tanks that grows in over time. But for now, we'll get some shots of me putting in the carpet, and then we'll get over to some stem plants and fill her on up, turn on the filter and the CO2, and hopefully we have a winner on our hands. So let's get right to it. With these carpeting plants, you want to stick them in as far as you can.
Oh, there's the cloudiness.
There is the cloudiness. It didn't go away, it's just hiding from us. And like all plants, you always want to prepare yourself for the eventual melt. It is totally normal. Don't beat yourself up if you lose some plants. It is not the end of the world. With plants like this, you can easily trim them up and replant in areas that certain ones melted away. All right, it looks really good. We have the plants in. We have the foreground completely carpeted, and we have some mid-ground plants in. I kind of went with the flow of it going to that golden ratio back there because there's not going to be any stems here, but maybe if that carpet continues, I don't have high hopes. I've lost way too many plants to melting, so we're just gonna hope for the best. Hopefully these grow and absolutely take off. But now, let's get our mid-ground area taken care of. For that, we have some Styrogen Repens, and I forgot the name of this guy already, but it looked very cool and leafy. Let's get this over here. So, we'll start with the Repens here.
Are you going to be cutting these ones up too, or like, how do these ones work? Oh, it's...
These ones are stems, yeah. So these guys, you want to do smaller bunches, just because they get really leafy. But you don't want too thick of a bunch because then they'll shade itself way too much. So I would say like, that's a really good bunch to start off with. So that's what, 3 stems. So if we do 3 stems there, 3 stems here. This guy looks like he's struggling, so we'll let him go over there. These guys, want to be careful not to rip any of these plants off. There we go. This guy, this little doodad, he is struggling, so we'll just pinch him off right there. Put that right there. When you plant, you really want to use what plant you're working with to separate the zones of your tank. You want the foreground up front, the mid-ground, the middle, and the back to be your background. Background, you want really tall plants. Mid-ground, you want kind of short, bushier plants. And then up front, you want these low carpeting plants, and that gives you that grade. So what I'm doing with the Repens here is it generally will stay a little bit shorter and bushy, and that's why I'm putting it in the mid-ground here. And hopefully it stays bushy. But these are definitely a little bit longer. But what I can do is once it's kind of stabilized and happy and healthy, we can go back in there and trim it up. And then that's the great thing with stem plants is once these are happy and healthy, when we trim the tops off, you can replant them right back into another area, and you got yourself some more plants. So we're gonna keep going with this. Kind of want to put one right here. Boom, if it stays. Kinda, it's very dusty, so we're gonna keep on keeping on. So this is gonna be total experiment. I just wanted some more green, but what we're gonna try to do is glue some moss to this rock right here and this rock right here on top. Just give it some more textures. I am not a moss fan. You will not find a lot of moss in any of my tanks. Come on, Mac, that's not fair. That's supposed to be moss on that one. Submerged moss, how about that?
It looks really good, it looks really good.
Submerged moss. But yeah, basically just some texture. All I'm gonna be doing is getting 2 clumps of it and basically gluing it down with some super glue. Super glue is completely inert when it hits water. It looks like they grew this moss in I don't know if I should have just kept it on there, but I don't want that green thing in there. So I guess we're just gonna be pulling. Probably someone's gonna be watching this being like, you dummy, you're doing it wrong.
If that's the case, comment below.
Yeah, comment below if there's
Comment the meanest thing. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, comment the meanest thing ever.
Bully.
Bully me. Makes me feel alive. So I did the moss and forgot to get Max. He was not here at the moment. So all I did, I took some thick gel super glue. I put the moss in my hand and I just glued a good amount onto the back of the moss and I stuck it where I want it. Hopefully it grows and thrives and looks good. You can see kind of some glue right there, but hopefully with the white spots in the rock, it kind of blends in, and moss grows very quickly, especially with good light and CO2. So that'll spread quick, but let's get our first round of plants. I think there's 3 bunches of these guys. So I kind of want to split them up on both sides and have those kind of like on this outside portion. And then I want to have the orange juice in the inside portion. And then I kind of want to take these little guys and just kind of dot them around. And I forgot about the big fern. We might not even need the big fern. I might just keep that in there for another tank project, but let's get these out. Well, as you can see, absolute mess. We did the planting. It took me a little bit longer than expected and was a little bit more frustrating than I thought it was going to be, but overall had fun. It was a blast. Everything came out how I wanted. We have the 3 gradings of plants with some touches of green, and we have the nice little green up here. I want to take a moment to clean all this up, clean up the ground and everything like this. We'll get the equipment powered on, we'll get the CO2 scheduled, and then we will cut back to hopefully a little bit clearer of a tank. We got about 30 minutes before Max has to hit the road, so hopefully this filter will put in some work and clear it up. But yeah, let me flash you and we'll get you this tank ready.
Not literally.
Not literally, but flash to the next part. All right, last time you're gonna hear me say we're rolling, but hey, finished planting. It definitely got chaotic as all my builds tend to go, but we had a lot of fun. It was fun having Max mic'd up for this video. We have the filter running, we have the CO2 running. The flow is a bit strong at the moment. As you can see, those plants right there are hanging on for dear life. I'm gonna tinker with it, play with it, probably adjust the outflow pipe here. Over time, the filter will gunk up a little bit and slow down a little bit, but good flow is good flow. We'll see if I run into any problems with it. But as you can tell, it's very, very cloudy and dusty, so we're gonna film this outro as is, and then probably tomorrow or the next day, I'll snag some nice video so we can throw it on at the end here so you can see it actually, you know, crystal clear and looking good. But as always, I appreciate you guys for following along this aquascaping journey of mine. We are now 1 official tank done in the new aquascaping gallery. We have 3 more to go, and we got some plans going for them, and hopefully each one will be different and challenge me to attempt something new and create a beautiful aquascape for you guys. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. It really does help. I know everyone says to do that, but it goes a long way, and I appreciate you guys, and until the next time.